Hello, this is Dmc. Today we are going to do poppies and it's going to be kind of a simple painting. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you do, please don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell. I also will have the traceable available for you on my Facebook page, absolutely free for you guys to use. You can follow the link in the description below. And the colors that we're gonna use is red, black, and greens, and probably yellows and a little bit of blues, because blues and greens are pretty good mixing together and creating beautiful greens with the yellows. So anyway, I am going to sketch really fast 2 poppies. And the center of the poppy is black. It has a lot of seeds, so we're gonna leave that area alone until the end. And the sketch is complete, so you can follow the sketch if you like to experiment and see how it works. It's not very complicated. And what I'm gonna do next is make the surface lightly wet, so I have a very pale version of the color so you guys can see where the water goes. And after that, I am going to grab a little bit of color and I'm gonna start dropping it in. So the first thing I'm doing is putting wet on my canvas, and I'll do it with wet on wet and dry on dry, so you can see how both ways of painting will work absolutely perfect. So now I'm dropping the paint just on the edges of those petals and kind of pulling to the side or a little bit to the center to fill in, but I really want to have a lighter area on the edge of the poppy or the petals of the poppy. Now if it needs a little bit of outlining like here, I will do that just to make sure I'm not gonna lose those petals. But just a small line is gonna work. You don't have to outline completely, just a suggestion. It's better, so less is more. And I'm dealing with different hues of the same color. So the first layer was super transparent, and the second layer is a little bit more color, less water, and moving to darker and darker hue. I'm not even covering completely with water the whole petal, leaving a little bit in the center, so I know for sure that the paint will not go in that area. And then I have more control over that area if I wanted to get a little bit of color later. I can just go with a slightly damp brush and kind of get a little color in there. So the darker color is closer to where the flower is inside, the petals that are closer to that center, and then the petals that are closer to the outside, they'll have the highlight in that area. And the most important thing is just have fun with this, experiment, play around. Sometimes I paint something a few times until I figure out what I like or how to do it. So not everything happens from the first time. Even if you have painted for many years, sometimes you just want to experiment and see if something different is going to happen if you do different things, obviously. And if that difference is worth changing. So I'm gonna cover the background with a super light green. which is more water in the green than color. So I pull the colors to the side and then I make them very transparent. So I'm gonna skip a little bit because that will be pretty much all the way till the end, just covering. And this gives me kind of a break from the main element. So I'm gonna go back into that flower. Now it's dry because I painted the background. But the background, in this case, created a darker area, even though it's much lighter. So the flowers look a lot more pale than I want them. So I'm gonna go back in and add another layer of another hue of that color and make it a lot more dramatic. So adding more color. So if we count how many layers, it's probably like 4 at this point. So it's always better to start very light and add layers and layers until you get it right. Every petal that it's disappearing, I'm gonna add a little kind of a semi-outline, or just give a little bit of a boost with a brush stroke here and there to separate. So the actual center, it has that little green thing that sticks out a little bit more. But in this case, we're just gonna do a circle. And we're gonna color it in with green, and the shape of that color will be in the like a letter C or U, whatever you decide. So it's gonna be a lot more color on one side and less color in the center and the opposite side. So for this, what I'm doing is I'm adding a really dark color in the beginning, and then I'm going to apply more and different greens, lighter color on the top. So if you see that green is definitely, the first green was kind of a bluish green, but that green is not going to be present. I'm using it as an undertone almost. So I'm kind of playing around, and you'll see how that's gonna get covered. So for the leaves, just create a leaf shape and add different either hues of green, or mix your green with yellows and blues to create different greens and make it patchy so it's not the same color, and then it's gonna look more three-dimensional. There's really nothing special that I'm doing here, just adding different colors in different areas. And sometimes when I add too much color, I will lift it up in certain places. So we still can add highlight after the fact. It's not gonna be white, but it's gonna be much lighter. So do you see that beginning of that greenish bluish color is gone, but it gives us much darker, or a little bit kind of different feel right around the flowers. You don't have to do that. That was absolutely an experiment, but I like it. So you can just go with whatever green you like. Absolutely will not make that huge of a difference. And now I'm kind of giving an outline, not everywhere, just in areas that I feel like the leaf is getting lost. I'm gonna emphasize with a outline. And when I'm doing the leaves, the center, it's getting ready to be painted. I did not want to paint this when the red is still wet. I wanted that to be completely dry so I can put the black without being afraid it's gonna start mixing with the red. And now I'm gonna add a few green dots, and then I'm gonna get the black in. So for the center, we want to drop that brush up and down, absolutely horizontal to the picture. Just adding a little bit more shadow there. I'm turning that painting so many times. And just up and down, little drops of black color, and go around until you almost don't have a color on your brush, and continue with that, which will be a lot lighter version of that black, and leave some space in between them, so don't fill it in completely, that little area. And this is where I'm going to lift a little bit of the color. Pretty much that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I would love to answer your questions, or if you have any suggestions, same thing. Happy painting, and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.